Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Aviary. Hope everybody's doing well. Just want to drop a quick video today. Kind of in a lull spot here with molt finishing up and heading into breeding season, but we're not ready for breeding season quite yet. So I just wanted to address some of the new birds, some of the changes, a couple quirks that we're going to have to work around this breeding season, and also sort of just where we're at as we move towards breeding season, which is obviously my favorite time of the year. So let's grab the camera and we'll talk about it. Okay, so this is probably the biggest news. Got two new cockatiels. My daughter named them Kristoff and Anna. If you're familiar with Frozen, you'll understand why. She's 3, so that makes sense. They're young. They are late 21 or early 22 birds. I'd have to actually go check. So they're young, but I think, and right now as I've gotten them, their wings were clipped. So as we move into their future, what I'd like to do is get their wings grown out, which they're starting to. You say hello? They're a little bit friendly, but they're a little bit on the fence about me still. So I'd like to get them out of this Hagen vision cage and into the parrot flight. And so that's what we'll talk about next. So Smokey and Bandit are easy. They're automatic. My budgies here. They are great parents, and I know the minute I put a nest box in there, she'll go in it, and I'll have baby budgies in a few weeks. Bandit's awesome. The sort of the more toss-ups in this cage, we've got my two Borks, so Marty and Lou. Marty is the female. She's up there. She's the Rainbow Rosie, and Lou is my male. Now, I've had some issues with them. So Lou, especially during the breeding season, but just in general, and it's very unusual for Borks, is very aggressive. So what I think I'm going to do is after the cockatiels grow their wings out, I'm actually going to swap these birds. So the Borks can just live in here. This is a nice big cage for them, and they'll move down here, and the cockatiels will move in here. Now in this cage also, which of course they'll all take off on me, we've got what's called a harem of weavers. Okay, so now that I've got my phone focused, so we've got a pair of diamond doves in here, which I think I will move them to the aviary. You got the female on the right and the male on the left. And then we also have, if I can show you, of course they keep flying, the harem of the unfilmable weavers. And I call it a harem because I've got one male and 3 females. And that is normal for this species. You can't tell which one's the male unless you look closely. I believe that's him right there because of the blue leg band. But he has molted out of his breeding plumage. So it looks like we're not going to get any action from them for a while. But they're in here where I'm not as worried about matching them up with temperature because this is not as exposed to the outside. And I've got, you can see here, full spectrum lighting in here. So they're getting natural light, sort of like a tanning bed. And then over here, I kind of have a fun thing, if I can get him to hold still. So I have a male Parsons Finch, and this is actually going to go to my buddy Chris Murdoch, Bird Nerd on YouTube. Great channel if you want something to check out. And there he is singing. Just for you, Chris. He's singing. He sings constantly. And as soon as the weather out in Utah where Chris is warms up a little bit, this male Parsons, he's a cream Parsons, will be off to Utah. Okay, now let's talk about the aviary. So we've got one attempted nest right up there. And then as we walk through, we'll see a couple other things I want to talk about. So first we'll talk about canaries. So I'm going to move the canaries out of here into one of the breeding cages in the next couple days. As soon as the nest box I want to use gets here, they'll get moved out, and we'll see if we can get some canary babies. And then we've got some fun stuff happening here. I don't want them to nest yet. A couple of reasons. One, we are having some unusually warm weather right now, but that's going to change, and it's going to be cool again for a little while. So we're not really ready yet, but it's hard to tell the birds yet. So as you can see, we've got one nest that got made here, and then we have another nest that got made here, and I'm just checking them every day right now to make sure that we don't have any eggs, because I would pull those eggs because it wouldn't be healthy for the mom or the chicks. Now, a couple other quirks. So we've got, this is Sydney. He's one of my male starfinches. And when I got him, he was not in good shape. He'd lived in a very tiny cage his whole life, and he just doesn't fly well. So he has what I would say is a parachute, but not, he doesn't fly up. Oh, and the quail are gonna push him out of the way. Everybody's busy looking at me and not looking where their feet are going. And so as far as Sydney goes, he's healthy. And my female red star does seem to be paired up with him. He can use these perches and get up there. So I'm hoping that when I put a nest box in, even though he is mostly a ground bird, that he and his partner will find a way to make it work. And I know I have another bird having some issues if I can find him. Sometimes he's under here, he's not. So he must be, oh, there he is. So he's over here in the quail feeder. So that's my male red-billed firefinch, and he's doing fine. But I don't know, I've checked it. I don't think he broke his wing, but he seems to have sprained it. And so I'm hoping that he seems to be doing fine except for that. I had him out of here in a cage for a few days, but it doesn't seem to be inhibiting him at all, other than that he's not flying great. And you see him there jump up on the perch and get up there. So I'm hoping just as time goes on, he gets better and better, and it's just kind of a bad sprain or whatever it is heals. And then beyond that, we have a couple Gouldians still finishing up molts. But as soon as that's done, oh, and it's one of my new, I'm kind of all over the place in this video, but here's my new three. You can see all three of them. We got 1, 2, 3. Got 3 more society finches. I believe 1's a male and 2 are female. And we're calling them the anti-society finches because they're crested and they have like a punk rock haircut. But basically, I love seeing all my masked grass finches out there on the line too. So what we're doing at this point, we have a couple birds we're looking for. We have a male gold-breasted waxbill, which there's my spare female right there that we're still expecting to get in. And then we would like to get another pair of red-billed firefinches. But if we can't find them, then that's okay. We'll just keep breeding until we can. They're pretty hard to find now because they're not imported anymore. And that's really about it for this video. Just wanted to talk about the things that I'm thinking about. So pretty soon we're going to get nest boxes going. We're going to see these birds start pairing up. But my goal is basically May 1st or so, I would like to have nest boxes in. So for now, we're feeding that Hari Gourmet, and you can see the remnants of it. We're feeding Hari Tropimix, and with my egg food recipe, which there's a video here on the channel if you want to know more. We're providing millet all the time, fresh water all the time, and then they've got oyster grit and charcoal, which are also Hari, and lots of the food. And so basically, oh, and we're doing, they've torn it up already, but fresh seeded grasses, which I'm just finding out in nature and just making sure they're not sprayed with pesticides. There we go. And they'll tear those up in the morning. And what I'm doing is I'm giving the birds the biological signal that, hey, spring is coming. Get ready to make babies. And it seems like they are. We got a nice, one of my spice finch pairs right there. You can see the male with the blue leg band and the female with the pink leg band. And there's my female Forbes parrotfinch. So I'm really excited. I think we have some great stuff coming down the pike. And I think I've talked about it before, but the goal for this year is 100 chicks on the perch. Oh, and there's the male singing, and the female is doing what's called peering. So she's very interested in whatever he's got going on. And so, like I said, the goal is to put 100 chicks on the perch this year, and I think we're going to be able to do it. So I'm excited, and I appreciate y'all following along. And I'll see you until next time, flock. Thanks for flying along with us.